press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello children, how are you? I hope that all are doing good. Today I am here with you with the new poem. The name of the poem is On the Grasshopper and Cricket. Okay? On the Grasshopper and the Cricket, it was written by John Keats. Okay, let's see about the poet's introduction. So poet, that is John Keats, he was born on 31st October 1975 in the city of London, United Kingdom. Okay, and he was an English romantic poet, and his famous works are Ode to a Nightingale and also Sleep and Poetry. So these are the works of John Keats. You know, he is famous for his poetry. And one more thing I wanted to tell about John Keats. He was died at the age of 26. Okay, he was died so early. After his death, his works are famous and his works are published. Okay, so he was a romantic poet. So he was struggling between to choose his career. Okay, so either he has to choose a medical profession, either he wanted to be a writer. So in that he had some struggling about his profession, about his professional life. So this is about John Keats. So let's see this poem. So the grasshopper and also cricket. Here in this poem, grasshopper, it symbolizes bright color and summer season. Okay, and whereas cricket, it symbolizes sound and also winter season. Okay, so here we can see there is a two creatures which it symbolizes differently. Okay, so insects, the two insects which it symbolizes differently. So grasshoppers we can see in the summer season, whereas cricket we can see in a winter season. Okay, so they both are acquired at different qualities. It is not similar with each other, they are different with each other. Okay, let's see in this poem. Unlike the ant and the cricket, in the beginning you have see that the ant and cricket, is it? How it was? So it is a kind of a fable, is it? So how the ant and the cricket is used to borrow shelter and also food to the ant, but ant it was rejected. It was rejected and it was scolding to the ant, is it? To the cricket. Now, which tells a story. This is a nature poem. Okay. Unlike the ant and the cricket, which tells a story, this is a nature poem. So it is not like a ant and the cricket. This poem is not the story where we understand the poem of ant and the cricket. It is not the similar of that poem. So this poem, it is about the nature poem. Which one? This one is On the Grasshopper and the Cricket. It is about the nature poem. And it is a grasshopper and the cricket do not appear as a characters in the story, in a story. Okay, so they are not like a characters which is appear in the story. They are not player roles here. Okay, so only thing is they are appreciating nature. Rather they act as a symbols, each suggesting something else. So they are not play the characters, who the grasshopper and the cricket, but in the ant and the cricket they plays a character. They have some dialogues, is it? They have some conversation, but here there is no conversation, only they are representing their symbols. So grasshopper, it symbolizes what, and this cricket is symbolizes what. Okay, so about this is the poem. Okay, and read the poem and notice how the poetry of earth keeps on through summer and winter in a never ending song. Who sings the song? Okay, so when we read this poem, so the earth, which always it used to sing songs. Okay, so sing song, it is never going to an end. Those songs, it is never going to an end. Okay, is that earth is going to sing a songs according by your opinion? What? Maybe or may not be, is it? Let's see what kind of songs they are singing. Our earth is singing. Okay, so let's see here. And before I am going to start this poem, I wanted to introduce about the poem format. Okay, I'm just rubbing this poet introduction. So this poem, it is in a form of sonnet. Okay, so what is the sonnet? this poem, it is in the form of sonnet. Okay, you know the poet, they can't write in their own way, is it? They can't use so many lines or only few lines. There is some restrictions. If they adopt that techniques, that becomes a sonnet, otherwise it becomes a poem. Okay, so here John Keats has adopted sonnet form, okay, in this poem. So what the sonnet it is? It is basically sonnet. It is basically 14 lines of poem. Okay, what is sonnet? Sonnet is basically it is a 14 lines of poem. Okay, that is called sonnet. When we call this a poem is a sonnet, there is a 14 lines of present in the poem, that is called as a sonnet. Okay, then, and it contains two forms. So one is octave. It means 8 lines. 8 lines, and one is sestet, which contains 6 lines. So in every sonnet where the poem has written, where they have adopted this kind of a sonnet here, so those lines means we can see there is a 14 lines are present in one sonnet, but again it is divided into 2. What it is called? The poem, we can see there is a lines which is called as a octave, which is a 8 lines. Here is, so another form which we can use, that is a sestet. It is a 6 lines. So totally when we add these two, it becomes a 14 lines and it is called as a sonnet. Okay, so one stanza, it contains of 2 stanza. This sonnet, it consists of 2 stanza. So first stanza, it is in the form of octave, means it is a 8 lines, and the second stanza, it is called as a sestet. S-E-S-T-E-D. Okay, sestet. So second stanza, which contains of 6 lines, which is called as a sestet. Okay, I hope that you all are understood this. Okay, so this poem, it is in the form of sonnet. So let's read this poem. The poetry of earth is never dead when all the birds are faint with the hot sun, and hide in cooling trees a voice will run from hedge to hedge about the new morn made. That is the grasshoppers, he takes the lead, and in summer luxury he has never done. With his delights, for when tired out with fun, he rests at easy beneath some pleasant wood. The poetry of earth is ceasing never on a lone winter evening when the frost has wrought a silence from the stone that shrills, the cricket song in warmth increasing ever, and seems to one in drowsiness half lost, the grasshoppers among some grassy hills. John Keats. Okay, so John Keats is called as a romantic poet because he is appreciating nature. He loves nature, so he is called as a romantic poet. So he is appreciating nature through the grasshoppers and cricket. Okay, so how he is appreciating? The poetry of the earth is never dead. So poetry, the earth is also forms a poem. That poem, it is never going to be dead. It means the earth, whatever the poem it is formed by the earth, it is eternal. It is never going to be dead. There is a life in that poem. Okay, so which is produced by the earth. I hope that you are understanding this line. The poetry of the earth is never dead. So the earth which is produced the poem which is not going to be dead. Okay, it remains eternal. It is living lifetime. Okay, it is never going to be dead. When all the birds are faint with the hot sun. Okay, so when all the birds are faint, you know, when the birds are singing, when the birds are flying, sometimes they used to they were exhausted, they lost their energy and they become faint. Okay, their energy was decreasing with the hot sun. So when there is a scorchy temperature, where there is hot temperature, so what the birds are doing, So the birds' energy was lost. The birds' energy were lost. And hide in cooling trees, a voice will run. So when they feel there is a hot temperature, they are hiding, means who? The birds are hiding under the cooling trees. A voice will run. So suddenly there is a voice, means there is a voice, the poet has heard it. What it is? From hedge to hedge about the new mown mead. Hedged means boundary to boundary, closing bushes. Okay. So the birds used to sing the song. Okay. Sing the song from all the boundaries. Okay. That sound it has produced by the birds, it is reached to the all boundaries, from one boundary to another boundary. So it is reaching that sound. About the new mown mead. New mown mead means it is a phrase used to depict the grass. Okay. New mown mead means it is a grass color. Okay. The grasses which is a very bright color, very green in color. So that one. Okay. That is called new mown mead. That is the grasshoppers. He takes the lead. So the next is after the birds, the next come the role of, that is the grasshoppers. He takes the lead, and in summer luxury he has never done with his delights. Okay, so all through the summer season he was enjoying the summer season with happily. Okay, merrily he was delightedly he was enjoying summer season. Okay, with the comfortable life. For when tired out with fun. So when he feels tired, when he was enjoying the nature, okay, so enjoying nature and he was happy with the nature, and when he feels that tired, when he was having fun with the nature and at last he gets tired, okay, he rests at easy beneath some pleasant weed. Okay, so when he feels tired, he takes a rest. So where? Under the beneath of some pleasant weed. Pleasant weed means unwanted plants. Okay, so he takes the rest under the unwanted plants. Which one? Grasshoppers. Okay, so this is. I hope that you all are understood this first paragraph. Okay, first stanza, which is called as a octave. So you can see that it contains 8 lines. Okay, so next I am moving to second stanza. The poetry of the earth is ceasing never. Okay, the poetry of the earth means the poetry which is produces the sound. It is ceasing. It never be alone. Okay, it is never going to an end. Ceasing means it is never going to an end. On a lone winter evening when the frost. So in the first paragraph, first stanza, it tells about a summer season, and in the second stanza it tells about a winter season. Okay, on a lone winter evening when the frost. When at the evening, so there is a lone. Lone means alone. So no one is there in the evening of the winter season. So there is a frost. When the frost has wrought a silence. So frost means, when the winter season appears, so the places which is very cold areas, there is a frost, is it? So in the frost has brought a silence. So that frost has brought a silence. Wrought means brought. Okay. So there is a complete silence. Okay. Then from the stone there are shrills. From the stone there is a shrills means, so when the frost is covered, when everywhere the place is covered with the frost, only some of the stones it is in the form, we can see it, and that gives a shrills. Shrills means sound. From that stone we can hear the sound. The cricket song in warmth increases ever. After that, after the stone sound, the next sound we can heard it, that is the cricket sound. Okay, so which gives the warmth. Warmth means it gives a warm and pleasure to people who are listen it. Okay, increasing ever, and it seems to one in drowsiness half lost. Okay, so whoever will listen the sound of a cricket, so they feel a drowsy. Drowsy means lazy, and they will be a half lost. Half lost means, so they wanted to sleep when they listen the sound of a cricket. Okay, the grasshoppers among some grassy hills, and in the winter season, that grasshopper, they are in some of the grassy hills. They are finding the grassy hills. Sorry, grassy means the grass means which is a green in color. Okay, so here poet used to compare the two symbols. Okay, where the cricket, it symbolizes the winter season, whereas the grasshopper symbolizes the summer season, which is very bright. The grasshopper, it is very bright in color, and cricket is famous for the sounds. Okay, you know, so we can see that we can hear the sound of a cricket. Sometimes it is very sharp to listen, and but when we are in nature, it gives a pleasant sound, which whoever will listen the sound of a cricket, so it gives it makes a drowsy, it makes a laziness. Okay, so this is and these sounds, it never going to an end. Okay, this is called as a earth poetry. Understood? What is the earth poetry here? The earth poetry is the sounds which is produced by the birds in the summer season, and the sound which is produced by the cricket in the winter season. Those sounds, it's not going to an end. Okay, so that is called as a earth's poetry. This is, and it is not going to an end. It is a eternal, it is a life, there is a life in the earth. So this is. Now let's move to the poetic devices of this poem. Okay, so poetic devices, the techniques which is used by the poetic devices. So first is rhyme scheme. So first poetic devices, rhyme scheme. Okay, so in the first stanza, we will take the last words of the every line, each line. Okay, so first is dead, dead, sun, run, med, led, then done, fun, and wed. So dead. So if we see that the rhymes, the sounds here, dead, it describes as a. So when we check the next line, the last word, the sun, it is not similar sound. It is not similar sound. It is not a rhyming word to the dead. So this is So this is called as a B. And when we take run, so it is not rhyming with D. Okay. So run is dead. It is rhyming with sun. So we have to take it as a B. So med is not rhymed with run and sun. It is rhymed with A. So it is a. So led also, it is not rhymed with run and sun. It is rhymed with med and dead. So it is also A. The next is done. Sun, run and done. It is rhyming with done. Okay, rhyming with sun and run. So we have to take it as a B. Then fun is also rhyming with sun, run and done. So this is also B. And wed is rhyming with dead, med, led and wed. Okay, so this is rhyming with these, and this is called as A. So now the rhyme scheme is AB, AB, B, A, B, B, A. Okay, so this is the rhyme. And next see the second paragraph. 6 lines is there, no? So never, frost, shrills, ever, lost, hills. Okay, so never. So what we are going to take it as? Okay, let's see with the A and B. So never is A. Okay, then frost is not rhymed with never, so it is a B. Okay, never, shrills are not rhymed with frost and never. Okay, it is C. Over is rhyming, ever is rhyming with never, so it is A. Lost is rhyming with frost, B. Hills is rhyming with shrills, C. So second stanza's rhyme is ABC, ABC. Okay. So this is the rhyme scheme of this poem. And the next one is personification. Okay. The next device is poetic devices, Personification. So, personification, it personifies the life, okay. So, use of the words to represent a non-living thing, non-living as a life, living, okay. It represents there is a non-living, actually it is a non-living, but it says this is a living, okay. So, what lines we can see here? The poetry of the earth is never dead, okay. The first line, if you take the first line, the poetry of the earth is never dead. So usually, who is dead? Who is going to dead? That is the thing which is a life, is it? Which is a living thing. So now, earth is personifies with living, that is the dead, okay. So whichever the life thing which is going to be dead, okay. So it is personifies, this line is personification. And in the second line or second stanza also, the poetry of the earth is ceasing never, okay. So this is, and the next is alliteration. So alliteration, it means repetition of consonant sounds in two consecutive lines, okay. Repetition of consecutive sounds in two consecutive lines. So in the first stanza, hedge to hedged, okay, hedge to hedged. So here you can see the consecutive, there is a consonant sounds in consecutive lines. This is a ha sound, consonant sound. It is repeatedly used here. And the next is Mon meadow, okay, Mon meadow. It begins with the consonant sound, okay. So this is called alliteration. Next is imagery. So what is the imagery here? Which use of words to create visual representation of words, okay. Use of words which is create a visual representation of the words, okay. So when words means when the poem is going to say through the words, and we can imagine it as visualizing through the imagination. So that is called as an imagery, okay. So where what we have to imagine here, so when all the birds are faint with the hot sun, so we can imagine, so that poem is giving the imagination, okay. So we can imagine those things which is described through the words. So this is called as a imagery. I hope that you all are understood this poem and its form and the poetic device and poet's introduction, okay. How the two insects, like that is grasshopper and cricket, how they are symbolizes, and here the poet is, that is John Keats, he is appreciating nature through these insects, okay, and he was symbolizes the two different season, okay, two different season and two different qualities of the insects. So this is about the poem. I hope that you all are understood and you enjoyed this poem, okay. So we will meet you in the next class. Till then, all of you stay at home, keep learning. Thank you.